bring in, and because we're also coinciding with some councils, some will come in and come out, so it's a little bit more different. It's a little different than in the past. So, welcome everybody. So before we begin, let me ask Keith to please lead us all in the Pledge of Allegiance. Will you please stand if you can?
So, stand for the Pledge of Allegiance unless you have a disability or so. Anyway, ready?
Yes.
Begin. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all very much. I'm a little bit discombobulated, so don't mind. Let me go over here. So a little bit of housekeeping first. So because we have so much interest right now, this is the weekend of elections. I have invited the candidates to come, and they will. But I've also asked them to come to the latter part of the meeting, so that we all can go through, some of our business first, and then, as a surprise to all of you, or no surprise, we will have some food to celebrate Chinese New Year or Lunar New Year, and so my thinking is also that as the food arrives and we can do, the candidates can speak and then they can mingle with all of you, and then they have a little bit more of a relaxed time to chat with you all. So before I begin, let me wish all of you Kung Hei Fat Choi and San Yin Fai Lo, which in my native Cantonese, that's in my native Cantonese, and I'm going to butcher the Mandarin, which is Kung Hei Fat Choi. So don't hold me to it. I'm not Northern, so. So this is the year of the snake. So may the new year bring you joy, happiness, prosperity, and good fortune and success. Right? It is said that the year of the snake, that the attributes that characterize this year are wisdom, transformation, resiliency, rebirth, and also healing. As you all know, the twin snake is also the symbol of for the medical profession. And I want to dwell on that for just a minute, because this is so important for us, especially at this time, right? We've gone through a very difficult election season, and so the reflection, we need to have the time for reflection, and so wisdom is very important for us. It is a year when we also need to transform from whatever it is that dragged us down to a new beginning, so that we can succeed in this new era. And so with that, it's a rebirth. It's a rebirth of our party. I think that you've heard from all of our candidates that have come, that you've been listening to for the last couple of months almost, right? That there's a common theme. There's a common theme that we all want to make sure that whatever it is that we didn't do quite right, that we correct. Whatever it is that we did really well, we double down on. And I think that our party now needs to do a little bit of introspection and do a little bit of transformation, or maybe some major transformation, depending on which way we go. So may we then be endowed with all of these characteristics of the new year as we move forward. We welcome all the returning members of our caucus, but I know that we also have quite a few new members, May I ask those new members to please stand and be recognized? Yes. I'm gonna ask you all to very quickly say your name and the state that you were elected from. So I'm gonna start with you, Harini, and then move forward. Yeah.
Thank you, Mama Bell.
Turn it on.
Thank you, Mama Bell. Happy Lunar New Year.
Happy New
Harini
Year.
Krishnan from California, and so proud to be here.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Ben Trey Hackett. I'm 23.
Oh, all right.
I'm a DNC elected member from Minnesota.
Yeah, all right.
I'm Vincent Kim from New York. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, thank you.
Nathan Soltz from Oregon.
All right.
Happy New Year, everyone. Kin Chung, also newly elected DNC member from Oregon.
Jason Park, California, just south of Ken. Thank you.
Hi, I am Becca DeFelice, and I'm from Texas.
Lee Forrest, I'm from Texas.
Any more new members?
Jason.
Jason. All the way back there. Huh? Oh, you went already. Okay, got it. Okay, thank you. So, welcome everybody. I want to just quickly share with you that in 2001, when I first joined the DNC, we had 8 members, 8 voting members. And I think Keith was the only one elected member. That was not a party chair or a vice chair that had an automatic membership. And so, fast forward. Oh, and by the way, in order to make up the 8 members, the chair had to appoint several at-large members, myself included, so that we could make up the 8 and form a caucus. The minimum number of members that could that are needed to form a caucus are 8. That's 2% of the DNC. So fast forward, we're in 2025. We now have 38 members. And out of these 38 members, we have several party officers, including Shasti. You can please stand up. I think you're the first and only South Asian party chair.
Yes.
In the United States.
Yes.
Or rather in the contiguous 48 states. Of course, Hawaii, and the Pacific Islands are, we also have party chairs. But this is quite an honor to have this wonderful party chair with us too. And so today we have 38 members, and most of us are elected. Very few appointed. So that again is another milestone that we have achieved. So thank you all very much for having the courage to run for office, and including running for DNC. This is something again that we've been talking about, ever since I've become active in politics. This weekend we gather after a very disappointing general election cycle. We did not get our top choices for the president. It had been my personal dream that we would have a president that is an Asian American in my lifetime. I'm hoping that dream can still be realized, and I urge those of you that are eligible to consider thinking about that next step.
Thank you for the dream, Belle.
Thank you. So, even though we had a disappointing presidential election, we have some very bright spots. And the fact that we gained 4 new AAPI congressional members is so we had 2 in California, and Keith is going to talk a little bit more about our gains. We had 1 in Virginia and 1 in Arizona. And our pride and joy is, of course, our new senator from New Jersey, Andy Kim. So, and I want to say also that up and down the ballot, we held our own. We did have some gains also in the state legislatures, in mayoral races, and in the community level elections. So let's now make sure that in this next cycle that we gain not only the presidency, but we also gain back the House, both the House and the Senate. And for that, we're going to be looking at you all again. I'm going to try to not dwell on that painful loss. It's I know those of you that I talked to shortly after the election knew that it was so difficult for me that I couldn't even talk. But now we have to move forward, and we have to make sure that we continue to fight, and that we do so with renewed energy. And for that, I think the fact that we're going to be having a new election with new leaders in the DNC, that will help us too. Most importantly, I want to take this moment to celebrate you, each and every one of you, because I know that you put out all of your efforts. I know that we have people like Harini, for example, that travel all over the country. I know that many of you went out of state to help in those states that needed the help most in the battlegrounds. And I know that each and every one of you put out all your very best. I urge you to continue to do that, and that as we move into 2025 election in Virginia and New Jersey, and also in 2026 when we go into the midterm. Right now we have a president that has no guardrail. The other side has all 3 houses. And, you know, I think in the first 10 days of the presidency, you've seen all of the executive orders that have become rather devastating. Things that were institutions, things that took many decades to build, he undid with a stroke of a pen. So that means that all of us have to work even harder as we move forward into this future. So there are widespread reports that our AAPI vote shifted right, and we're waiting for final numbers to help us figure out what happened. But regardless of what those numbers show, there is evidence that that shift did occur. And so as that shift occurred, what I'm asking each and every one of you is to work even harder to try to find out not only what happened, but also to reach out to those people that left us, and also to reach out communities that we have not touched for whatever reason. It is the time for us to connect and reconnect. It is time for us to rebuild. And like the Year of the Snake says, it is a resiliency, and we are a resilient people. So let's fight on. There is this widespread consensus that we need to have a strong change agent, a strong leader and manager, a leader that listens, a leader that can lead us to victory. We're very fortunate that we have candidates in fact, I would dare say that each and every one of the candidates that have spoken to us over these last couple of months are very good, going to be very good at listening and they also know that this is going to be a time of change. Several candidates for officers have requested to come and address you, and I think it is important that we take the time to listen one more time, because tomorrow is the time for us to make that decision, and I ask you to make that wisely. It is very, very important that we select a leader that knows how to lead, that we select a leader that has the experience to get us over, not only to win in this next election in 2025, in 2026, in 2028. It is very crucial that they help us win at every level of that election. We are going to, I have asked some of the candidates to come a little bit later, but some of them are already here. So I'm going to, okay, all right. So what I like to do is, we have a couple of plans for this caucus today, but if and when our chair comes, I would like to interrupt whatever it is that we're doing so that we can give him the time. Also, our executive director, our deputy executive director, Roger Lau, is also going to come and talk to us. It is especially important for us to give them the time to do that. So, one thing that you all told me that was very important the last time that we got together was to get to know each other and to work together. Not just to listen to me or to listen to our speakers. So to that end, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have 2 workout groups in a little bit. And we're going to be talking, and one group is going to be focusing on messaging and communication, and the other group is going to be focusing on outreach and outreach. So, but before we do that, one of the things that I'm going to, okay, hold on a minute. Okay, so we're going to give, and instead of giving you time to report out, what I want to do is, and this is again to foster that community, right? I'm going to ask you to make sure that we get your email addresses, and we want you to share your thoughts and the outcome of your work group back to each other, okay? So that we have something that will keep us going. That will also give us the opportunity to communicate with you in between meetings. I want our caucus to be as active as possible, because it is through this kind of relationship that we're going to be able to advance and to work together and to fight hard. Because we need every one of you, we need every talent possible, and we need to make sure that we have a way to communicate with each other. So, with that, let me, I think the Congresswoman, Joyce Betty, okay. Congresswoman Joyce Betty is here, and she has another engagement, so she asked if she could come first, so please.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Good evening.
yeah. I will ask the candidate to take no more than a minute, so that we can accelerate and proceed.
Thank you. I'm Joyce Beatty, and I'm running for Vice Chair of Civic Engagement and Voter Participation. Let me just make it simple. I'm a proud member of the United States Congress, and you should be proud too, because now as Democrats, we have 19 members, 16 in the House and 3 in the Senate that are AAPI. And so, yes, and let me tell you why it's important, because I have the biggest platform for making sure that our chair works with the congressional members. We can't take back the House without Congress and the DNC, but here's what we need to do. We need to remember that everybody needs to have a voice, and everybody needs to be in the room. I am making a commitment to you that I will travel. I will be someone whose shoulders you can stand on, because I know what it's like to not be included. So what you need to do is remember, I'm Joyce Bailey, and I'm running for Vice Chair of Civic Engagement and Voter Participation. Let's protect our vote, let's make sure we mobilize, and let's make sure that you have a seat at the table and in the room. Thank you
so much.
Vote for me.
I'm going to invite Shasta to come up. Shasta is one of our own, and so we have a very special place in our heart for Shasti. So I'd like for you guys to come, have them come up here and speak instead.
Thank you. Good afternoon. How's everybody doing? I want to say such a huge thank you to our chairwoman, Belle, who has been such a legend and a mentor and a support for, certainly for me, but I know for every person in this room. We wouldn't have this community without Belle, so thank you. Thank you, Belle. When I told Belle that I wanted to run for this seat, she had said yes. She said she had my back right away and she would be so supportive. And I want to say thank you to Keith as well for your leadership. It's been a joy to get to know you both. I am the only Asian woman that is running for a leadership position at the DNC. And we have got to make sure that we have representation in a real way. Not a pat on our head, not just a talking point, but real, actual leadership that understands our community and makes sure that we are always a part of not just the conversation, but the work. I am tired of us being overlooked. We are the difference makers in so many of these elections across this country, in every single corner of this country. One of my favorite innovations in organizing of the last several years was the hacking of the family WhatsApp chats to help win in Georgia. It's still one of my absolute favorite things that I've ever seen, and that was led by the AAPI Victory Fund and our community in Georgia to make the difference. And that's because we know what this works. It's community. It's working with our families. It's bringing us all together. And we do it with food, we do it with joy, we do it with love, and we do it with real deep grassroots organizing. I hope you will support me for DNC Vice Chair. If I get this role, we are all going. It means we are all a part of this DNC as it should be. So thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. We're gonna win. We're gonna do this. Thank you.
And she is the first Asian American state chair outside of in continental United States. So. Okay, so before we proceed, I want to take a point of special privilege to thank my dear friend here, Damon. Yes. Damon has supported our caucus for almost 5 years, on and off, and he comes in and pitches in at all times and any time that I ask him. So thank you, Damon. Thank you again for supporting us. So I'm going to, I think maybe at this point we'll just do the quick, yes, why don't we do this? I do want to do the breakout session quickly because the food has arrived. And so what I want to do today is to get this quick breakout session separated into two groups. You choose whichever group you want. On this side, you'll have communication and messaging. On this side, you'll have outreach and organizing. Okay? And what I want you to do then is one of you take the lead in collecting the emails for everybody so that you can then communicate back to each other on the outcome of your discussion. This is a chance for you to get to know each other and to work with each other. Okay, communications and messaging, and outreach and organizing. Okay? So please move whichever way direction you want to move. Yeah, okay. And as I said before, I will interrupt you when the chair comes and when Roger comes. Communications and messaging on my left, and organizing and outreach to my right. Oh, and Mr. Chairman, please come up.
My chair.
My chair.
Our chair.
It gives me great pleasure to introduce you to our chair, Jamie Harrison. And Mr. Chair, before you begin, I actually have a little bit of a surprise for you.
Oh, always surprises.
Always surprises. So, Mr. Chairman, because you have been such a, can you all hear me without the microphone?
Yes.
Okay. Because you have been such a wonderful supporter of us, of our entire caucus, and myself personally, we want to confer on you the honor of being an honorary Asian American. And a forever member of our AAPI Caucus. Forever. And this is the certificate I represent to you.
The Square X is for you.
Guys, this is so special. I am so grateful. Of course, I am grateful to this woman. And I know that many of you are. Belle is, she really has been my heart here at the DNC. She has been my dear friend and will continue to be my dear friend. Belle, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your friendship. And thank you for always having my back.
Always.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Keith, thank you so much. Thank you for your leadership. And thank you all for making me an honorary member of this caucus. Forever member of this caucus. A life member. You know, now, you know, when I etch on my tombstone, I know I can put that on there too. You all, this is really, really special. And, you know, what I have always loved about coming to this caucus is that you have always opened the doors to me and always welcomed me warmly. And it's just been absolutely amazing. But, you know, what has been even more amazing is to see the emergence of the AA and HPI community in the electorate in this country. You all have been the difference maker in terms of so many elections and helping Democrats win up and down the ballot. And what we need is, and what I hope we have done, Bill, as we have worked together, is to lift the floor in terms of our expectations and to make sure that the ceiling is even higher in terms of what we can achieve and accomplish by working together and organizing in the community. What the last election demonstrated is we still have a lot of work left to do, my friends. There's a lot of conversations that we have to have. There's a lot of work that we have to have with our friends and our family members in our communities about the stakes of these elections. But what gives me hope is what we have done and achieved when we work together. And so I want to wish you all a happy Lunar New Year. I want to thank you all for the friendship that you all have given me and extended to me over the course of these, not only the 4 years that I've been DNC chair, but the 14 years that I've been a member of the DNC. It has been truly an amazing time. I'm not going anywhere, and I am looking forward, Bill, to continuing to work together to do the things that are necessary. If there's ways that I can help you all recruit more candidates, then let me know. If there are candidates you want me to call, I'm happy to do so. If there are checks that Bill, I need to, because Bill is not only a great caucus chair, she's a hell of a fundraiser. There are fundraisers, Bill, that I can participate in or get my dirt road Democrats packed in order to do so. I'm doing that, but I'm going to do whatever I can to continue to see the emergence of this community and the flourishing of this community as it relates to the American electorate. Thank you all so much. And oh my God, the food smells so amazing. I like the whiff. Belle also knows the key to my heart. So I don't know if you all know this. My family and I are trying to plan, this is our big post-election trip. So we were trying, for the last 4 years, we're thinking, where do we want to go for our post-election trip? And we all agreed, it's the kids, my wife and I, my father-in-law and my mother-in-law, and my brother-in-law and his girlfriend. The agreement is we are going to Japan this year. So if you have any tidbits, any friends or colleagues over in Japan, or if you are the expert on all of the great things to do in Japan, please find me and let me know. Because I'm also the trip coordinator. And I am looking forward to that. But also what I'm looking forward to is diving into that food that is in the back of the house. Thank you all so much. Belle, thank you for the love and the friendship.
And we're going to hold you to it.
You know it.
Yes.
You know
Okay.
it.
All right. Thank you so much. I think did I see Roger back there? Yeah. Roger, if Roger wants to come in and speak now.
Is Roger loud?
Yes.
Hey, Josh? Do you have Roger's thing? Yes. Yeah. Can I make a presentation to Roger?
Yes, please. Please do.
So folks, I want you to know one of the very first hires that I was able to make at the DNC was to bring on Roger Lau as the Deputy Executive Director. And Roger, who was also not only the Deputy Executive Director, but had served as acting co-executive director, but is the highest ranking Asian American ever to serve at the party, in the party staff leadership. And this guy has a heart of gold. This is a guy that when he says something, you can believe it, that you can trust in him. And I just want to say, Roger, thank you on behalf of this party for your service. Thank you for your leadership, but thank you for just being one hell of a loyal friend. Folks, I'm going to present Roger with our DNC medal.
I'm so honored that you did it here.
Yes.
Yes. I
Yes.
think this is very appropriate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Love you, man.
Thank
Love you too.
Yes.
Oh,
So I want to add to the chairman's words on introducing Roger. Roger has been not only my friend and my mentor, but also he's the person that I go to with anything that has to do with the DNC. Anytime that I get into trouble, I call Roger. Anytime that I have a problem, I call Roger. Anytime that I have something to just complain about or to celebrate, I call Roger. So Roger is a friend, is a brother, and I love him so very much. So Roger, with that, I'd like to bring you over to say a few words too.
Thank you. I love you.
I love you.
Thank you, Thank you for having me. This is pretty damn cool. So I'm Asian American, so obviously I love science fiction, I love science fantasy. And when Jimmy pulled out this medal, I thought of the end of the first episode of Star Wars, the movie, where like Han Solo and them got the medals. Yeah, I was like, this is really cool. I first ever got a medal rolled up around my neck. So thank you, Jamie. And thank you, Belle. Thank you, Belle. Thank you, Keith. Thank you for having me here. This is our last AAPI Caucus meeting under Chair Jamie Harris's leadership. And it is so, I'm so proud to join all of you guys on Lunar New Year. For those who celebrate, Gong Lei Fa Choi, Sen Lei Kim Hong. I'm so proud to see the representation and participation in our community and our party's leadership. And as always, I'm grateful for the leadership of those who have come before us, those who paved the way, blazed the trail, and often were on their journey alone. But always recruited more people to join them along the way. When I first came to the DNC 4 years ago, many congratulated me as the highest ranking Asian American staffer at the DNC ever. Jamie actually just said it too. And I want to remind everybody that actually wasn't true. I'm not the highest ranking Asian American at the DNC. That was Seema Nanda. Seema was the first Asian American woman to serve as CEO of the DNC, first South Asian woman, first Indian American woman to lead the DNC, and she made history. And with her came Grace Meng, Congresswoman Grace Meng, who is my congresswoman in New York, my home state. She joined her as vice chair of the DNC, and she made history, following Mike Honda, who was the vice chair before that. And at the time, she was the first Asian American to serve in Congress from New York. And along with her, along with Jamie Harrison, when he came in, Senator Tammy Duckworth joined us as the vice chair of our party. Senator Duckworth is not only obviously an Asian American leader, but a Thai American woman elected, the first one to Congress, the first born in Thailand elected to Congress, the first woman with a disability elected to Congress, the first woman elected who was a double amputee in the Senate, and the first senator to give birth while in office. Truly, truly remarkable and historic. But it wasn't just our elected officials and our elected leaders under Jamie's leadership. We had an unprecedented number of Asian Americans on staff at the DNC working in every corner of the organization, from the operations team, political team, states team, communications team, coalitions team, voter protection team, ASDC, the Best Practice Institute, the Secretary's Office, the Special Projects team, the mobilization team, our finance team, our cybersecurity team. I can keep on going. And of course, our tech team, led by Arthur Thompson, who is our CTO. I think he's the longest serving CTO at the DNC, a fellow Chinese American. So I'm so excited to be part of our staff for that. There are folks in here who have worked at the DNC. Can you please stand up and just be recognized? I want to be able to thank you for your service. Thank you. And obviously, there's Ms. Natalie back there. Natalie's the longest serving Asian American staffer at the DNC. Chinese American, Indian American, and probably Jamaican American. And I don't know if they're in the room, but we have a couple interns who just came on in the last few weeks. Oya and Muna, who are working as the DNC Young Asian Americans who just started a couple weeks ago, and will be leading us through this transition as we move on. But all these people worked hard in our states, in Wilmington at the DNC and the convention, in Chicago for Kamala Harris, the first vice president, the first presidential nominee from our own community. I'm really grateful for that as well. Like all of you, I'm proud and grateful for her, but I'm also proud and inspired by the service and leadership of my colleagues on the campaign at the DNC, but also in our states. We also have leaders in our state parties. Alex Wan from New York, Monique Alcala from Texas, Sean Rahman from Virginia, Aaron Fernandez from Hawaii, now Alaska, Phil Roque from Hawaii, and Nola Hicks, of course, I think everyone knows Nola, as well as our state party chairs, Derek Turbin and Shasti Conrad. Speaking of Shasti, I just want to thank all the Asian American leaders who decided they're gonna run for a state party office this year. It is truly, truly remarkable to see this many Asian Americans running for leadership. Obviously, I'm not a DNC member. I don't have a vote. I'm staff, so I have to be neutral on this. But I could not be more proud to see Asian Americans running for offices for chair, for national finance, for vice chair. It is really cool to see this many people raising their hands to help lead our party into the future. And all this, of course, is possible and bookended by the unwavering leadership of our leader, our matriarch Mabel, as well as Keith over here, who's I think our longest serving Asian American DNC member. And obviously our vice chair here. These are the leaders who, as I talked about before, who've walked that road, who've often walked along the way, and recruited so many of us to join them, and really grateful for their leadership along the way. Our community is strong in our party, in the Democratic Party, and only getting stronger with elections of AAPI mayors, legislators, members of Congress, statewide electeds, and of course, one of my personal highlights, and I know there are folks in this room who worked on this, in November, Senator Andy Kim. Give a shout out to him. So, clearly, based on your enthusiasm about all this, representation matters. We all know this. But participation matters, right? The participation of those who are here, coming into the DNC, being members, being active in your state parties. Participation of those who are working at the DNC, on the campaign, at the convention. Participation of those who are running for office, whether it be at the DNC as an officer or elected in your own home state. That participation matters so much. We like to think of representation as a measure of progress, and it is. Participation, as I said, matters too. But intentions matter, and they matter a lot. As you know, we also have an unprecedented level of representation and participation from within our community on the other side. I'd like to think less than us. But members of our community have reached the highest rungs of the Republican Party and Donald Trump's team. We have been in a fight for the soul of our nation for the last several years, as Joe Biden first said, and I'm proud that all of you and I and others have been a part of that fight. But if we didn't know before this election, it's now clear more than ever. Part of that fight for America and America's soul is going to be a fight for Asian America and Asian American soul in this country. Our country can no longer take this community for granted. We can't take the party can't take us for granted. And those of us who are working here, we're definitely the ones more important need to remind everyone every single day. Our community cannot be taken for granted, and those who are leading it can make sure of that. And it's because the future generations of our community can't afford it. This fight is going to be hard. We have so much more to learn. We have so much to figure out. We have so much work to do. But I do think we're going to win this fight. And we're going to win this fight for our community, for our party, and for our country because of all of you. All of you, who've been a part of this, all of you, the interns who I shouted out before, all of you who spent money on your own out of pocket to be a part of this, to be part of these meetings and these elections, you all have demonstrated the willingness to fight and to lead and to participate in the right way, with the right intentions. So, thank you. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your kindness, your service, your leadership, and your friendship and fellowship. This is my last DNC meeting as Deputy Executive Director of this party. This is the best job I've ever had, and a huge part of that was having the opportunity to work with you. It's my last meeting, but I know this is not going to be my last time working with you. I know I will never walk that road alone, and because of all of you. So, thank you for an amazing 4 years. Thank you for all the progress we've made, and thank you for all that we're going to continue to do for our communities. Thank you.
Thank you, Roger. You're not going anywhere, my friend. You're not going anywhere. You're going to be with us.
We love you, Roger!
Always, always. Thank you so very much, Roger, for everything that you've done for all of us throughout these 4 years that you've been here. Many of you have not seen the behind-the-scene work that he's done to help our community as well. So it's with great gratitude Okay. My hopes of having a breakout session is probably gone to the wind. So we have a lot of our candidates here already. So I'm going to ask Martin O'Malley to please come up. He was here a little bit before, and so he's. Governor?
Thanks. Belle, thank you very, very much. Let's give it up for Belle Yong Hong and all she does. As I've traveled across the country through the great diaspora of AAPI Democrats, my first question to them is always, do you know Belle Yong Hong? And it's my icebreaker. It's my go-to. So it is a great honor to be engaged with all of you in this mighty struggle at this time to save our republic. The only way we do that is by making this party battle ready, by upping our game, by becoming engaged with AAPI communities, our Hispanic communities, communities all over America who feel like we stopped talking to them. And in the places where they were having conversations, we weren't present, but the other people were. And so, we find ourselves now at this moment of electing a new chair. This is not a continuity election. This is not a normal time. This is a time that cries out for our party to elect new leadership that can effectuate the changes we need so we can change our country and deliver again for the hardest working people in America. AAPI communities are the fastest growing group in the United States. You see it reflected at the swearing in of members of Congress. You are going to save this country by the way you become more involved and not less. And I promise you, if I am your chair, it won't just be 2 meetings a year. No, we have important work to do, and together we're going to do it. Truth is marching, America has better days ahead, and tomorrow is going to be the next and greatest chapter of the Democratic Party because of your leadership. Let's go. It's time. Thanks.
I'm going to ask the candidates to please come forward so I can recognize you. My eyesight isn't as good as it used to be, so if you don't mind, come on forward. Virginia, you've been sitting there for a while. I'm going to ask you to come up. And then I know that Tim Lynn has been standing there for a while, so Tim, you follow Virginia. We've got a whole bunch of people there. And Secretary Holland. Virginia's here.
Well, thanks very much, everybody. Something sure smells good in here, so I don't want to interrupt, and I can't wait to get in the back and try some. Thank you, Belle and Otto and Keith, but especially my good friend Belle. She has been a mentor to me. When I decided to run for re-election to be treasurer of the DNC, my first call was to Belle, and I want to thank you for all of your support. And look, as Roger said, these are going to be difficult years coming up, and the most important thing is that we get to work as fast as we can and to build a war chest. Because without a war chest, there will not be any infrastructure and there won't be any programming. As treasurer, I have left $22 million for the next chair of the DNC. We have no debt. We have no lawsuits. We are in temporary good shape, but we have to put the ground running. And I am looking forward to serving another term as your treasurer. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Secretary Howland is in the house. Would you please come up?
To say hello and tell you how happy I am to be here. You know, when you serve in the federal government, you kind of take a low profile because you need to. but I don't need to do that anymore, so I'm here. I want to first just thank Belle. Belle, you've been here as long as I've been coming here, and I'm so grateful for your leadership. Thank you for every single thing that you do. It's so important that we stick together, right? So I want you to know that I am here. I am dedicated. I know what it's like to be from a community that sometimes gets forgotten and overlooked and underfunded and the whole 9 yards. But in my previous job, in my first previous job, I brought that sense with me, that perspective with me to the department, and I'm so proud of the work that we did for the AAPI communities, not just here in this country, but around the world. So thank you all so much for everything that you do. We have a lot of work ahead. I'm going to be there side by side with all of you, making sure that we win back what we've lost, because it's so important for our communities to be able to rely on us. So thank you again so much for having me, and onward. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Secretary. I kind of lost track of who all came in. I'm just going to go this way first. Tim, I'm going to go start with Jason. Okay, Tim, come on up then. Sure. Okay.
Can we get another round of applause for Belle, please? She's like, just do what I'm doing. My name is Tim Lim. I am running for National Finance Chair. I can't tell you how unbelievably proud I am to be standing here today as a candidate for a DNC national office. I'm a first-generation Korean American. My parents immigrated from South Korea to the United States. And I was trying to tell my mom the other day what I was doing, and she just said, well, does it make any money? And I told her, no, it's a volunteer position. But as Roger said, representation matters, and it matters to step up, and it matters to be seen. And that's why I'm running, is because I want to make sure that within our party and our party leadership, that my voice, your voice, voices of everyone here are represented, that our backgrounds are represented, our point of views are represented, our concerns are represented. I have the endorsement of the AAA Fund, of the Aspire PAC, and my good friend Andy Kim, who, when he first ran, everybody said, I don't know about that, and I said, he's going to surprise you. And we built a finance operation together, and we won that race. And that is exactly what we're going to do in 2026 and 2028. We're going to have more AAPI voices in Congress, in states and houses, and wins. And we're then going to take back the White House in 2028. So thank you very much. Excited to be here and looking forward to the vote tomorrow. Please, if you have any questions, come up and ask. But I'm really, really, really grateful to be here. Thank you.
Next, I see Jason. Come on, Jason Ray.
Well, I can't start without giving a hug to that. Because Bill, you've been a friend and mentor for, I don't want to say how many years for us, 20? A few years. But it's just great to be here with all of you. I just wanted to stop by quickly because I don't like to miss these caucus meetings, but it has been the absolute honor of my life to get to advocate for all of you, our DNC members, to be your voice, to help improve our member engagement, our member responsiveness, to help really make sure that you have an advocate in the DNC leadership. And that's something that I've done since my first election. It's been the absolute honor of my lifetime to get to serve, work alongside you, and to build friendships with all of you. And I'd be so honored to have your vote tomorrow to continue serving you as your DNC secretary. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Chris, come on up.
I think we're going to will the candidates please sit in the front here so that at least I can recognize you. As I said a little bit earlier, my eyesight is not so good anymore, so.
First of all, I want to thank Belle for her incredible work in fundraising. She has been a force, and going all the way back to, I think, the Clinton years, as a force for our party. I am the National Finance Chair, and I'm running for re-election. The reason why I'm running for re-election is I think in these tough times, I am the best person to lead that effort. I congratulate Tim for being a candidate, and I told him at the debate or forum last night that no matter who wins, we need to work together as one, because the amount of money that we need to raise to stay competitive is incredible. So, folks, I am running for re-election as the finance chair of the DNC because we're in a tough spot. I have a proven track record of being the largest Democratic fundraiser in DNC history. And as the National Finance Chair, we built the strongest National Finance Committee ever. I am ready to get back to work. And I live my life with this one saying, service to humanity is the best work of life. I appreciate you all. This is the 12th meeting I've been to in the last 6 years to AAPI Caucus, and I appreciate everything you do. And thank you all, Belle. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Okay. Come on up. Please introduce yourself.
Good evening. Adam Frisch, candidate out from Colorado for Vice Chair at Large. Just here to say thank you. After driving 77,000 miles, I can say that DNC is in charge of electing candidates, and I think having a recent candidate, one that's overachieved twice, to be around that, whatever table there is going to be very, very important. I'm very, very aware that some of the biggest movement loss of the Democratic Party was in the AAPI communities across the country. And we need to figure out how everyone can come to the table and making sure that we have those common grounds and spend more time focusing on economic opportunity and good and safe schools and good and safe neighborhoods. That is something that cuts across all types of communities. And it's been an honor to be up here and continue to learn from everyone. So I ask for your vote. I'm running alongside, not against, a lot of other fine candidates out there. And Adam Frisch for DNC Vice Chair at Large. Thank you so much.
Hello, and thank you for having me. My name is Joe Barbuto. For the last 8 years, I've been the chair of the Wyoming Democratic Party and a member of the DNC. And I want to tell you, at my very first meeting of the DNC back in 2017, the first member to embrace me and help me and show me around was Otto Lee, and I just love this guy, and I'll be grateful to him forever for helping me navigate this system, or whatever we call it. I'm running for vice chair at large, and I'll tell you the primary reason, because I'm from a red state, a rural region, and that's an area we have lost as Democrats. And it matters to me for a lot of reasons, not just because we need to expand the map, but because the people I love, my friends, my family, my neighbors, they're voting in ways that are hurting their interests. Not just are hurting me politically, but that are impacting their lives and their livelihoods so negatively. It breaks my heart, and especially because I know that our values as Democrats are more in line with their values as rural Americans. But we're not sending that message to those places. We're allowing Republicans to define who we are in places like Wyoming. And I'll tell you what, every state and territory has a place, something like Wyoming. This is not just an issue for a state like mine. And so we need to go back in those communities, we need to have conversations, and we need to recognize also that these rural communities are diverse. And so if you elect me vice chair at large, in fact, I'm not running for vice chair at large, I'm running for vice chair of rural engagement. If you elect me into this position, I'm going to be working with your caucus to figure out how we make sure that everybody's hearing our message in rural America and that everyone everywhere can see a champion for their cause in the Democratic Party. I sure appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'm Marianne Williamson, and I'm running for chair. I'm running for chair because we are facing a peculiar and unique political threat in the GOP agenda of today. And regular, ordinary political activism and organization and administrative fight, as important as all that is, will not be enough. The problem here is that he is such a liar, our president. But one of the reasons his lies are working is because we have not told enough big truths. Too many generations of Americans have been brought up without a knowledge of American history and without a knowledge of American first principles. First principle, e pluribus unum, out of many, one. That means different nationalities, different cultures, different ethnicities, different geographical locations, different religions. That's part of the richness of America. We forgot to teach it to our children. And as a consequence, let us not be naive. Let us soberly realize what is going on here. He represents a white supremacist Christian nationalist agenda. You look at what he has done in 10 days and tell me that's not true. We are going to have to face this with organizational abilities, yes, but so much more as well. When it comes to Asians in America, the history of persecution, the history of bigotry, and it is all rising up right now. So I believe as chair that one of my most important missions would be to celebrate what's possible in America for everyone, for every people. I also, one last thing I'll say, when you talked about our losing AAPI, Asian Americans are very entrepreneurial people. Americans have got to stop acting like we don't appreciate or celebrate entrepreneurialism and opportunity, because we do. In fact, we're better at it than the other guys. Thank you very, very much.
Good evening, AAPI. Allow me to just say thank you to Bill. Bill has been such a dynamic leader, not only for your caucus, but for our party. And y'all should give that a round of applause. I actually lived in Maryland 10 of the 13 years that I lived in the DC area, and Bill is someone who I called. I had the privilege of working at the DNC, supporting the Black Caucus and the Women's Caucus, and the AAPI Caucus was not far between us. Phil Kim is a great personal friend of mine, and I just enjoy so much working with him, Bill, and I know he's your mentee. So I really wanted to say thank you for that. Listen, I'm not gonna be up before you long. I don't have to tell y'all what state we're in right now. I think it's been less than 2 weeks. I think today's day 12 or 13 of this administration. I'm just hoping to hurry up and get out of the way. And we've seen so many attacks on who we are as people. But every time I hear them say DEI as though it's such a dirty word, it infuriates me. Because when I think of DEI, I think about the fact that we've definitely earned it. We've earned every space, every corner, every position, every job, every opportunity that we have here in this party, but also in this country. And so I want to thank the AAPI community for being vigilant in your work and your contributions to this country. I encourage you to keep going. We're going to be in this fight together, because when we fight, we what? We win. Thank you, Belle, and thank you, AAPI Caucus.
Jason and then Ben.
Hello everyone, I'm Jason Paul. I'm a candidate for chair, and I think in this case I'm just going to brag a little bit, because I'm in a group called Force Multiplier, and I was on their research committee, and I insisted that we put Derek Tran on our slate, and I was really happy that we put Derek Tran on our slate, and because we put Derek Tran on our slate, I think we got just enough money to get him across the line. That was one of our most successful, exciting things that happened in this election. I want to make sure that we do it again and send young Kim also back. And I think that if we're focusing on where our AAPI community is strong and vibrant and giving them candidates that they like, they are going to vote for Democrats, and that's how we get them to vote for Democrats up and down the ballot. And so that's where we need to focus. And so that's my little small humble brag. You've all read my plans probably 200 times. I would appreciate a consideration for chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Hung. Thank you, Adelie and Kuthumamoto. Thank you, AAPI Caucus. This is a moment when we need to be ready to fight. To fight as a party because we recognize that the Republicans are trying to divide our communities. They're targeting AA and HPI voters. They've invested in community centers from California to Texas. They are spreading misinformation on Kapow Chat, on WhatsApp groups, on all the different places where people pay attention, where Democrats as a party don't show up. And we know that this is the party that believes that AA and HPI voters should be recognized for the fullness, not just as voters, but as candidates and public servants and leaders in this country. This is a party that works to encourage, to invest, to lift up and connect. And I want to share that when I became chair of the Democratic Party of Wisconsin, we didn't have an AAPI caucus. And Chair Leung Hung came and said, we got to change this. And we worked with the AAPI Caucus, AAPI Council of Wisconsin to build a caucus in our state party, to do listening tours across the state, to repair rifts that had happened between different AAPI communities and local Democrats and elected officials. And then we got to work. We invested in year-round AAPI coalition staff in our state. We invested in AAPI media in language, in the Hmong community, and recognizing that people get their news in the language that they speak at home. We worked to lift up AAPI candidates and elected them. From Wausau to Milwaukee to Madison, all across our state, we know that when people see someone like them on the ballot, when they see the Democratic Party investing in their leadership and in their work, when they see that the Democratic Party staff reflects their communities, when someone knocks on the door who has shared life experience, it makes a difference. And if I'm the national chair, we're going to invest in ensuring that this happens in state parties across the country, because the AAPI community is rising. The AA and HPI community is growing, 35% growth decade after decade. This is not just the margin of victory, this is the base of the Democratic Party of the future, and we're going to invest and we're going to act like it, and we're going to ensure that when people see who is running for office in this Democratic Party, they know that the future is Democratic. We need to fight, we need to unite, we need to win. I'd be grateful for your vote for DNC chair. Thank you, AAPI Caucus.
Okay, we've got a whole lot of, quite a numbers yet still. Let me see. I think Josh, you were here first, and then we'll go with you. And then Contessa, okay? Yeah, I see you. Please.
Hello, hello. My name is Josh Burstein, just your run-of-the-mill Asian Jew from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Most recently, creative director for the DNC convention. I helped Andy Kim's campaign and AAPI Victory in the past. Obama alum, been an E-list AAPI surrogate wherever there's a free buffet. Real quick, AAPI engagement isn't maybe getting your own yard signs, right? I don't believe we have truly demonstrated as Democrats what it means to meaningfully nurture relationships with time and commitment in these communities in so many places. And that is online and on the ground. And digital is just the water we swim in, and we need to level up fast. We not only need to empower our youth in this, but also our elders. We need to make sure that they have sophisticated, easy-to-use tools to connect and connect us all. Because when we chat, we win. You get that? You get that? All right. We need doers in the DNC. I want to represent you proudly. Thank you for considering me for Vice Chair of Civic Engagement. My name is Josh Burstein again. Let's get to work.
Okay, Contessa, and then.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Democrats. Good afternoon. That's the teacher in me talking. I like call and response, you know. First, I'd like to thank the AAPI Caucus for allowing me the opportunity to be able to speak before you all today. My name is Dr. Quintessa Hathaway, and I'm seeking to be the next DNC chair. Much of what America has become is because of the experience and the contributions of Asian Americans and Native Hawaiians and those that are specific islanders. And I'd like to thank you all for all that you do to right the wrongs of American history, and that your story is folded into America's glory. Coming up, I attended one of the most diverse high schools in Nashville, Tennessee. That experience gave me an opportunity to have friends like the name Sampan and Pansy and Sally Babowski and people of that sort. One of my good friends, we all had our class reunion here a couple years ago. I'm showing my age a little bit. I am a millennial. But I saw one of my good friends. I grew up in a community called Woodbine, Southeast Nashville, working class community, and I had a number of Asian friends coming up. When I tell you all I understand the experience of the Asian community, spent times in you all's houses, no shoes on my feet just like everybody else, walking, very respectful, wonderful, loving families, I get it. Our stories in this country are so married together when it comes to the African American experience and the culture. We are one people, one culture, one America. And if given the blessing and opportunity to be your next DNC chair, I want you all to continue to rise. We will rise together to do this hard work, to rebuild American democracy, to go out and get the vote for all people that look like us and those that don't look like us, to broaden the tent of our American democracy and add more Asians up and down the ballot. And we win more victories come the 24, excuse me, we didn't win in 24. In the 26 and 28 elections and forever coming forward. Thank you all. Blessings to each and every one of you all, and God bless. Thank you so much.
Okay. Yes, please.
Good evening. My name is Chris Jones, and I'm running for DNC Vice Chair at Large, and I would love your vote and support. Thank you, Chair Leon Hong, for all that you do. Thank you to the AAPI Caucus for all that you do. I am a seventh generation Arkansan who went on to get 5 degrees, including 3 from MIT, with a PhD in urban planning. But the thing that matters most to me is engagement in community. And that's why I'm running for DNC Vice Chair, because I believe engagement in community directly is how we transform this country. When I campaigned for governor of Arkansas against Sarah Sanders, yes, I covered all 75 counties in Arkansas. And what I found is that communicating directly with folks is how we make the change. So as DNC Vice Chair, I want us to show up everywhere all the time with all our might. I want us to modernize our party up and down, from the top all the way to county parties and below. And I want us to make certain that we are facing and fighting mis and disinformation. So I'm Chris Jones. I'm running for DNC Vice Chair, and I would love your vote and support.
Thank you so much. Okay, where we go? Thank you. Okay, then shake, then.
I'm here. Thank you, Madam Chair. You did pronounce it right. It's Marika like paprika, Marika like paprika. And I am Marika Coleman, running for DNC Chair. And thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to address you today. I want to tell you just a quick story. I know you all have heard a lot of our spiels about why we're qualified for treasurer, and all of us, I would say, are qualified. But this position is so streamlined. All that you do is file the FEC reports. That's it. And really who does that is the CFO and our compliance officer. So this position actually could be expanded. It could be expanded. So quick story really quick, because I am an ally. I'm a black woman, but I'm an ally. I serve in the Alabama legislature, and one day there was an Asian American guy who was just walking around my building, walking around. And I said, well, sir, can I help you? And he said, I'm looking for Senator Marika Coleman. And I said, well, I'm her. And I said, what can I do to help you? And he said, I was looking for you because I wanted to thank you. I want to thank you for your fight. Because y'all know Donald Trump is trying to divide the Big Tent party. You all already know that, Democrats, and we're on the right side of history. But I fought a bill. And he said, if you had not fought this bill, my company would have been put out of business. Now this company, y'all, is the largest marble making company in the state of Alabama. But because of the Republicans and their divisiveness and trying to attack the AAPI community, they were getting ready to put a business that is making money out of business in our state, and they're supposed to be the ones that are supporting small business. So we can do that. I can do that in this position. Take the fight from Alabama to the national DNC. So I'm asking for your support. Again, I'm Marika Coleman, running for DNC Treasurer, and thank you so much. And if you all are doing endorsements for a caucus, I'd love that too. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. It's always so hard following Marika. I'm telling you. One thing I'll say, I'm Robert Stevens, and I'm running for vice chair of the DNC. And I'm running because I believe that something Congressman Lewis would always say. He said, it doesn't matter how you got here, whether you were in a boat, on a boat, right now we're all in the same boat. When I was calling, asking individuals for their support, I spoke to an individual from the AAPI community. And I always ask people before I say, can I, get your support? What's important to you in this election? And she said to me that we are not seen. We're not visible. And I promised her the same thing I'm gonna promise you in this room right here. If you all give me your vote, I will make sure that all of the individuals who have been historically marginalized have a voice. I know that feeling. I've lived it my entire life. And I'm here to raise that and elevate it. So whatever you're doing, please consider Robert Stevens vice chair. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you. Okay, Shake. Oh, Raina, I'm sorry. Raina and then Shake.
There's so many people. There's so many people. Hi, how are you? My name is Raina Walters Morgan. I'm running for Civic Engagement and Voter Participation Vice Chair. I am an attorney, I'm an organizer, and for almost 5 years, I was the DNC's Civic Engagement and Voter Protection Director. I understand the opportunities and the challenges that lie ahead. In 2022, I worked with the DNC Coalition's team on the DNC's translation program. In that year, we collaborated to help translate over 300 documents into 27 different languages. We can always do more, but I understand that we've got to start, and I'm committed to continuing to do that work as your Civic Engagement and Voter Participation Vice Chair. My team is also the team that runs the National Voter Assistance Hotline. We operated the hotline in 6 different languages while I was at the DNC, and we know that we can always do more, but again, it is a start to make sure that we are doing what we need to do to reach our AAPI community. I think that we have challenges ahead of us in terms of thinking how we're going to move forward and making sure that we can reach voters where they are. When we analyze the data from the Voter Assistance Hotline, we realize that under 2% of the callers were AAPI callers. So we have to do a better job of reaching voters where they are. I'm committed to doing that. I don't have all the answers, but I will work with you as your next Civic Engagement Vice Chair. I hope to have your vote tomorrow. I'm Raina Walters Morgan. Thank you so much for your time.
Hey, this is Senator Sheikh Rahman from Georgia. Glad to be with you all. I served the DNC at part of the API Caucus from 2016 to 2020. And I'm also running for vice chair for the Civic Engagement and Voter Participation. Give you a little story. Decades ago, before even I was elected, I sued Gwinnett County, collaboration with NAACP and Lawyers Committee of DC for gerrymandering. The Gwinnett County that I represent, one of the most diverse county in the United States. All Republicans used to control it, and I'm one of the 9 original plaintiffs that we sued the Gwinnett County. Now we control county commission, school board, and every single office you can think of in Gwinnett County. So I'm not a lawyer, but I have a degree in economics, global study, but I do have a paralegal certificate, an advanced paralegal degree certification from University of Georgia. So I know a little bit about lawyering too. So anyway, Hope to honor your vote tomorrow. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Hi, I'm Jim Zogby, and I'm running for vice chair as well. There's a lot of us in this race. Listen, I want to say three things to you. One is about our relationship, my relationship as an Arab American with the Asian communities. First, on the DNC with Keith, we back in 1996 joined forces to fight against a Bill Clinton imposed ban on contributions from green card holders. We knew the impact it would have on our communities. We weren't the problem in that election, but we were being made the scapegoats. It would have meant not only green card holders, but citizens as well would have had to show ID when they made a contribution. And so we fought and we won. And I was glad about that. And then after 9/11, if it hadn't been for the Asian community in its various forms, I don't think we would have had the confidence that we ended up having that we would be safe and secure. Just literally a week after, I was standing in the middle of the Japanese American War Memorial, invited by a collection of Asian American groups to speak about the situation that was facing my community. I had death threats. 3 people went to jail for threatening my life and the lives of my family. But I stood there in the middle of that memorial and I said, it'll never happen to us, because when Japanese were taken into the camps, no one there is to defend them. And here we were with all of these communities around us, defending us, making it clear that America was our home and we would be defended. The second thing I want to tell you, I'll just cut to the quick, the last thing is, I've been on the DNC for 32 years. I know what the problems are, and I'm committed to solving those problems. I know about financial transparency and accountability. I've been pushing for reform, and I'm confident that this year, as Jamie said in his speech today, precisely because we don't have the White House vetoing decisions we make, we have the opportunity to do big things. And so I ask you to support me, because we need big things. We have to change the party, how it operates. We need democratic decision making. We need to involve our members in the decisions we make instead of having them simply ratify decisions already made. And just one last thing, and that is, one other thing I know about the Asian community is that, yes, it exists and there are common overlapping things, but just like my community, just like the African American, 20% of African Americans are immigrants. The Asian community is not just an amorphous blob, but the larger you grow, the more the internal issues within the community need to be understood. That there's a difference between the Japanese and the Chinese and the Indian and the Pakistani. I mean, in outreach, we can't have a one-size-fits-all approach. We need to understand every component group of the community and do outreach to all of them. I'm committed to working with you on that, as I am with the Asian, with the Latino community, with the African American. Who's talking to the Nigerians? Who's talking to the Kenyans and the Ethiopians and the Guatemala and the Eritreans? And I promise I'll work with you on that. So thank you.
Thank you, Jim. I'd love to hear a lot more, but we have several candidates still that needs to speak. So let me see. Blake back there, then you, and then you. And okay, I'm just going to. All right.
Thank you.
Is Blake coming? Blake?
I'm hustling.
1 minute, my friends.
Thank you. Good evening. Good evening. My name is Michael Blake. I'm running to be your next Vice Chair of Civic Engagement and Voter Participation. I have the time, we have the team, and it's now time to organize. Let's be very clear. For civic engagement, we have to mobilize and support our AAPI communities, because too often what's happening in your communities is what happens in our Black communities and what happens in Latino communities. They're being treated as monolithic, and they are not. And so when we think about civic engagement, how do we get people to recognize the impact of what goes on to make sure that people can vote and government is powerful for them? Second, that means we have to diversify the contracts that are happening in the DNC and utilize API vendors, not just for API outreach, but for all things we're doing throughout the DNC, because we have to make sure you're being maximized and important in that regard. Lastly, when we think about voter participation, we have to think about gaming, sports and entertainment, and new strategies to actually connect the voters that we don't have right now. We've been endorsed by the College Democrats of America, by 16 state chairs, by 6 additional vice chairs. We are ready to do the work. We are ready to mobilize, and I'm asking for your vote in this moment right now. My name is Michael Blake, and I'm asking to be the next vice chair of civic engagement and voter participation. God bless. And thank you, Bell.
Hi, my name is Jim McBride. I'm also running for civic engagement and voter participation, but I'm also eligible for at-large. I am a regular attendee at AAPI Caucus meetings in Virginia. I gotten to know the community quite well. I mentor a young man whose family is from Afghanistan who is a regular and has leadership roles in the community. And I've worked with some great activists and leaders in the AAPI community over the years. Mark Keem, who is, I believe, one of the first Asian American elected officials in our General Assembly. I trained him on the van during the beginning of the Obama campaign in 2008, and he is now president of the Korean American Institute, and he's one of my references. Also, one of my references is Sri Kulkarni, who was a great candidate in Texas for Congress in recent years, and now has been helping the DCCC with their relational organizing programs. Now, during the Andrew Yang campaign, which I was excited about because of I'm a big fan of UBI and ranked choice voting, I met a lot of great young Asian American activists who I think were new to politics. I would love to tap into the energy of young activists in the AAPI community more, to get them involved with the policies they care about. So I look forward to helping out, and I hope for your support for Vice Chair of Civic Engagement. Thank you.
All right, everyone. If you're ready to win again, let me hear you say win. Win. All right, let's do a little better. If you're ready to win again, let me hear you say win. Win. All right, my name is Troy Blackwell. I'm a proud Afro-Latino from the South Bronx, New York. I grew up in one of the poorest congressional districts in the country. The reason I got into this work in the first place is because at 18, unfortunately, I was the victim of a hate crime. I decided to turn that pain into purpose, and at 24 years old, I got my first White House job in the Office of Public Engagement under Valerie Jarrett, who was then President Obama's senior advisor. At 29 years old, I ran for my first office, and I created my own PAC to get out young voters. We contacted 26,000 voters, and at 34 years old, last Monday was my last day in the Biden-Harris administration. I was the Deputy Chief Communications Officer at Commerce. We pushed out $800 million to communities to close the gap in broadband access. We created 1.5 million jobs, and we made sure we hit historic numbers in terms of minority business development, including in the Asian American community. So thank you so much for allowing me to be with you all today, and I hope that I can earn your support on this journey for Vice Chair at Large. Once again, my name is Troy Blackwell.
Thank you, Belle. Thank you, everyone. I know you've heard a lot of people speak, and I know we're at the part of the day where we're all tired and we've all heard everything everyone's had to say. My name is Gina Repass. I'm the proud chair of the Kansas Democratic Party, and yes, I am a Black woman chairing a red state party in the middle of the country. So if anybody knows about disenfranchisement, trust me, it is I. I want you to know that I'm not going to get up here and pander and try to use cred about why I should get your vote as the AAPI Council. I will say this, in Kansas, one of our caucuses is AAPI, so that we know that we always have those voices in leadership. What I want to say to you is it is important right now for us to look at the structure of our party. And as a red state party chair, I want to stand in support of whomever our new chair is. And make sure that they have the party structure and infrastructure. I know what it means to build a party. I know the difference between running campaigns and building infrastructure. What I'm asking you humbly is for your vote and your support. There are a lot of vice chairs at large. We're going to be the last voting block tomorrow. But if you can stay the course, if you want to change course, I'm your girl. I'm Gina Repass. I'm the proud state party chair from Kansas, and I'd be honored to have your support. Thank you.
And Ken Martin.
I'm literally going to be really brief here because truly everyone's tired and ready to go get a drink and some food, right? So I do want to can we give it up to Mama Bell for all of her leadership? You know, she is just an amazing leader for our party and frankly for all of our caucuses. She serves such an important role in mentoring and showing leadership to every one of our caucus leaders here in the DNC, but also around the country, and I just want to thank her. Look, you've heard other folks talk about the fact that the AAP NHI community is not a monolith, right? We know that to be the case. In fact, it's not. The community represents over 70 distinct groups. We can't treat it as a monolith, much like we do with the Latino community. We tend to, as a DNC, treat our constituencies as one group. This is a very, very diverse group, and it requires us to be much more sophisticated and strategic in how we approach those groups. We need to invest in literally translating our message into the many different languages that are spoken across our AA and PNHI community. That's the only way we can push back on misinformation and, of course, to reach all of the constituencies and persuadable voters in this community. Not just those who speak one or two languages. It's so diverse, even within specific communities and specific distinct communities within the AAPI community. Look, I'm just going to say that we know the importance of the AAPI vote. We saw it in this last election. We saw it in 2020, right? We saw it with Senator Warnock's victory in Georgia. It was the margin that put him over the finish line. We saw it in President Biden's victory in 2020, right? We saw it up and down the ballot in 2024. It is the fastest growing community in this country. If we as a party continue to ignore or not put enough resource into organizing the AAPNHI communities, we're doing it at our own peril, right? We know that this is one of the most and largest persuadable voting blocks for the Democratic Party. Persuadable voting blocks for the Democratic Party. It is not a reliable constituency yet, but it could be if we're willing to work for it and put the resources in and to organize and to give people a sense we're on their side, right? So just know that I'm going to do everything I can as the next DNC chair to make sure we prioritize working with Bell and the rest of the caucuses here, but particularly the AAPNHI caucus, to make sure that we're putting the resource in and partnering with you on the ground to deliver votes. I'm sorry, I'm a little incoherent right now. We've given about 1,000 speeches today. Bell says, welcome to your new world if you're the next DNC chair. So, I thank you all so much. Let's go out there and fight. Let's go out there and win. Let's keep working hard.
Do I have any more candidates in the room that I can't see that far. So any more candidates in the room that needs to speak? Want to make sure everybody gets a chance to speak. All right, good. Well, thank you all very much. Thank you to the candidates, all the ones that have spoken before, and thank you, Ken. I think you all got a sense of what the candidates have to say to our community, and it is very important that they all had a chance to talk about their vision with regards to the AAPI community. Unfortunately, we ran out of time, and we don't have enough time to do the breakout, but I would still like for you all to kind of give some thoughts in the next couple of months, and share with us, what those thoughts are with regards to how do we make sure that our communication and our messaging reach to our community faster and better than it has been in this past. Oh, I have one more candidate coming. Come on up, Marilyn. Marilyn Davis. So wanted to make sure that everybody got a chance to hear all of the candidates. So come on, Marilyn.
Thank you so much, my friend, Bill Young Hung. I appreciate you and love you so much.
My name is Marilyn Davis, and I'm running for DNC Secretary because yesterday's DNC should not be today's DNC. But I will share with you that I am not new to the AAPI Caucus. As Belle can attest, when I worked for the DNC, I was a Director of Community Engagement, overseeing all of the community engagement organizations of the party. And when I become Secretary of the DNC, I will make sure that as Secretary, we look at the data and we see where communities are missing and work with state party chairs and work with the chair of the DNC to make sure there's more representation, because representation matters. Thank you, and again, yesterday's DNC cannot be today's DNC.
Okay, any more candidates that need to speak? All right, so Clarence, you want to come and say a couple of words to the assemblage? So, Senator Lamb, he is our senator from Maryland, and I think you are the only AAPI senator right now, correct? Yes, come on.
Well, good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure and honor to be here. I want to thank Belle and all the leadership here of the AAPI Caucus. You do tremendous work, and we stand on broad shoulders, especially Ms. Belle's, to be able to continue the leadership that you've done, and we need to continue to do. And so you've heard from many candidates earlier this evening. We have a lot of work to do to be able to continue to rebuild and build further our caucus, our party, and to expand out to make sure that we continue to have successes in future elections. And so I know in Maryland, we've done a lot to be able to help support our AAPI community, and it's a good start, but it's a starting block that we see across other states as well. And so to see a cross-section of individuals from our community, our AAPI, ANHPI community across the country is really, really remarkable. Encourage you to continue the strong work, to network, to work with each other, because we know that together we are stronger. We know also that we are the largest voting bloc, growing voting bloc in the US. And with our voices together, we can make a tremendous difference. So thank you so much. Thank you, Belle. I see some Maryland folks out here. Really glad to see all of you in the audience. We're all going to continue to work hard with our brothers and sisters across the country. Thank you so much.
Okay, so as I was saying a little bit earlier, what I'd like for all of us to do is to think a little bit about what to do insofar as communications and messaging is concerned, and organizing and outreach. Remember that the story goes that we lost some ground during this last election, so we need to figure out how to regain that. So with that, I'm going to ask you all to please think and send me, I think you all have my email. Please send me an email. Let me know your thoughts. We're going to collate it and we're going to send it back out to you. What we would like to be able to do is to create a communications network for all of us in the AAPI community. And part of that communications network is that creating that messaging so that we can fan out especially responses as we see a lot of these things coming down the pike with this new administration. So thank you all very much. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second? All right, all in favor? Aye. All right, thank you all very much. Until next time. Tomorrow is the voting for all of the candidates that you've heard from. Please make the choice that will help all of us advance our purpose.
Sorry I'm late. It's been a long day. You guys represent one of our fastest growing demographics in our country. There is no future of the Democratic Party without the AAPI community. And that isn't just, on the West Coast, even though that's very important. I grew up in California until I was 14. But it's all over the place. We have AAPI people everywhere from Arkansas to California, Hawaii, and everywhere in between. And we need to make sure that we're not treating it like a monolith, right? The way that somebody out in Orange County who's reading these is thinking is not necessarily the same that somebody elsewhere is thinking, because it is a massive group of people, and we need to make sure that in the same way that we don't treat Gen Z like a monolith either, that we don't treat the AAPI community as a monolith either. And if I'm elected to be vice chair, I want to work directly with you guys on especially how can we get more young AAPI candidates elected around the country. This past cycle, I raised over $11 million for young Democrats running for state legislature in Congress. But what I need your help with, I want to find some great AAPI candidates to support around the country. Because it's really challenging to run for office, but we need the encouragement and support of people like you guys to support them. And then you call me up when they're running, and I would love to help fund their campaigns. So thank you so much, and don't want to take any more. Also, can we give a round of applause to Belle? Belle has been one of my favorite people to talk to through this entire process. The amount of wisdom and dedication that you have to the DNC, and the fact that you're not jaded, at least not fully. Yeah. But I really think that our conversations represent what we can do well as a Democratic Party in forming an intergenerational coalition. And I really appreciate your advice, in some ways your mentorship, obviously, and more than anything, your friendship. So, thank you. Thank you, guys.